Okay, I'm recording. So we will have one more copy just in case.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Let's start. We are starting the event with Adriano Autino. The name of this event is Foundation for the Future, Conversations for the Future. Also, let us see here, Adriano, if I'm not sharing in the in Facebook. I am starting right now in just a moment. Okay. Okay, start to sharing right now. Is transmitted. It's been transmitted from this moment. Yes, only confirming. Okay,
right
wonderful.
now is transmitted. It's been transmitted from this moment. Yeah, it's only confirming. Okay, right now it's
Okay. We are transmitting the event Foundations for the Future, Conversations for the Future. The translation for Spanish is Foundation Fundación para el Futuro, Conversaciones para el Futuro, con Adriano Autino. Yo soy el profesor Julio Rezende y tenemos también la moderación de Carlos Duarte y Isaac Hernández. Adriano, thanks so much for your interest and support to Space Renaissance Initiative Latin America. This is a collaboration also with UFRN, Habitat Marte, Mar Society Brazil, one of the actions of Space Renaissance Initiative Latin America, and collaboration with Mexican Space Agency and one channel and a program of Mexican space agents called Hacia el Espacio. Y también, and also the AREC is a group of architects from Chile, represented here by Isaac Hernandez. Thanks so much. And the format of this event today, we will be having your presentation, and after this, we have comments from Professor Carlos, and also be after in the moment when Carlos will be speaking, I will be doing a introduction of his curriculum. In the same way, the presentation I will be doing about Isaac. And first, in this case, I'd like to do the introduction of Adriano. I also received his curriculum. Just a moment. I'm open here the curriculum. Okay. The curriculum of Adriano Autino. Okay, Adriano is the space philosopher and small entrepreneur. He is a co-founder and former president of Space Renaissance International, and also he's developed many activities connected with Space Renaissance group. Also, I'm a part of the group, and one of the reasons we have this meeting today is also having a partnership with Chile and Mexico to spread more about the activities about the space renaissance. Okay, Adriano Autino devotes main efforts in terms of space renaissance philosophy or space humanism. Also, his bachelor is about industrial electronics, and he's also studied computer science in University of Torino, also developing many technical skills also acting in the technology industry in Italy and other countries. And yes, Adriano, this is a little bit about our introduction about you. And you are very welcome to stay with us, with some partners in Latin America. Also, after this, we are recording and sharing your presentation to after this moment. And also, we are very say thanks to you to accept our invitation, and let's also discuss how we can let the space renaissance more active in Latin America. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me here. I'm very glad and honored to hold this speech today. And okay, so let's go ahead. I will try to share my screen. Okay. So let's go. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, it's shared.
Yes,
Perfect. So, okay, I will basically talk about two things today. One is the concept of civilian space development versus new space colonialism idea, and the 18 SDG, our proposal, together with almost 40 space advocacy organizations, to add an 18th SDG to the United Nations agenda for 2030 for sustainable development. So the idea of a civilian space development is, let me say, convened into our proposal of an 18 SDG focused on space. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, this is what we are doing. So the key moment in history, okay, there were several, but the last one, the most important, I think, of this century is 2015, when the reusable rockets have dramatically decreased the cost of transportation from Earth to orbit. In 2015, SpaceX started to experiment and use reusable first stages of rockets. So 2015 can now be identified as a turning point in history, signifying a change of paradigm from traditional aerospace to a new space age. Such process is opening several different scenarios. It is up to the people of planet Earth to choose the best one for the benefit of all. Let's have a look at what are the global needs of 8 billion humans living on this planet. We humans have overcome the threshold of 8 billion individuals on planet Earth. The UN communicated that in the last quarter of 2022. And we can see very clearly that our growth is now unsustainable if confined within the limits of our mother planet. Mother Earth is tired and commencing to try kicking us off by several warnings: strong climate changes, pandemics, political craziness. Yeah, this is also part of the nature, political craziness, because we humans are part of the nature of this planet. So it is another tool that Mother Earth is trying to use to kick us off. The remaining resources on Earth are now insufficient to allow a decent social growth of all peoples of Earth. The pressure inside Earth atmosphere is increasing due to our growth in a closed system. A new industrial revolution is dramatically needed, and it should be 100% inclusive to satisfy the sacrosanct right to development of all the human beings and their communities. To be noted that the right to development was recognized as a universal right by the United Nations General Assembly in 1986. Okay, standing this situation, the strategies advanced by the main powers are definitely not equal to the problem to be solved. Passive strategies are pursued, trying to mitigate climate change and pollution, Such strategies are oriented to the growth and deindustrialization, while people need billions new jobs. So this is, from the social point of view, is a very complicated and critical situation. Let me now have make a quick parenthesis on the philosophical layer. What we see is here is a confrontation, a comparison between two different futures. The paradigm of the closed world, should Earth remain closed, philosophically closed and technologically closed and politically closed, and the paradigm of the open world, should we open the system and start to expanding outside. So in the case the Earth will remain closed, we will have, however, human growth, and but the finiteness of the planet Earth's resources and of the planet itself will be cause and is already cause of shortage of resources and environmental problems. That will lead to limits of growth, what in the 70s, the Club of Rome of Augusto Peccei called the limits of growth. So that will determine a fear of the future, stagnation and economic recession, decrease of the human life value, ethical regression, rise of mafia conflicts and wars, authoritarianism, tyranny and barbarism, philosophic cannibalism, hostility toward children, so decline and death of civilization. This in case the world remains closed. If the world will be open and we start moving outside, human growth will mean access to the very huge resources and energy of the solar system. Abundance of resources and energy, and Earth is lightened of the human development weight. So we will, moving outside our industrial development, will relieve the Earth planet from the burden of our development. That will start an age of boundless development. That will mean confidence and hope in the future again, and unprecedented economic growth, full development of human heritage and intelligent life. That will mean ethic evolution, obsolescence of mafia conflicts and wars, philosophical openness, human nature, a fusion, a transcendent fusion between humanity and nature. The children are the treasure of humanity. Peace, development, freedom, and democracy will be very much enhanced, and we will have growth and evolution of the civilization. So this is what is at stake today, to choose between these two different opposite scenarios, closed world or open world. Let's keep it present during the advancement of the discourse. So space is the answer, because about resources, the solar system provides resources enough for development of trillions of humans for millennia to come. Let's think about the near-Earth asteroids, the asteroid belt, the planets and moons, comets, Kuiper belt, Oort cloud, where there are a lot of raw materials and all what is needed for development of trillions of people. Energy. The sun provides abundant energy, of which we are now using an infinitesimal part, at least to the internal solar system. Going to periphery, nuclear power can give the needed energy. Space. The solar system is extremely large. There's place enough for an inestimable number of communities. Environment. Moving our industrial development of Earth into the geolunar space will relieve planet Earth's environment from the burden of our development. Earth population. When we start growing outside Earth, the growth on Earth will be progressively lowering. Social. Employment and social growth. The civilian space development will trigger an unprecedented global economic and cultural revolution. But many opposers are working against civilian space development. First of all, astropolitics. The big powers on Earth finally understood after 2015 with the rockets reusability that it is quite important to have a military permanent presence on the moon. supporters of the closed world, a very large mainstream current, thinks that we shall resolve problems on Earth before even thinking to go outside. They don't understand that in order to allow Mother Earth to clean the home, the grown children shall go out and let her rest and refresh the environment inside. Anti-humanist currents. Many opinion leaders think that science and technology have ruined the world and human intelligence is noxious. Thus, humanity should reduce itself and possibly disappear. A new colonialism. Many leaders, even inside the space community, don't think we should expand into outer space, yet just to use space resources here on Earth's surface. I think this last is maybe the most insidious and dangerous current, and we will see why. So, the historic colonialism tried to to eat the planet, no? Among the powers of that time in the 17th and 18th century and ahead. But colonialism is not dead as a concept. The historical colonialism was initially based on a simple rob and take home concept. Superpowers of that time used to send their task forces overseas, achieving precious goods at very low or zero price and bringing those goods to their home countries, selling them at very higher prices. Such policies were in many cases socially detrimental, especially when they boosted the use of drugs, for example, stimulating the opium dependence in some Chinese provinces. In many cases, the colonialist policies brought to conflicts and wars in order to secure the seigniorage over certain regions. In the most part of cases, nothing positive remained to the colonized population, since the colonialists mainly educated populations to a culture based on robbery and hard exploitation, and not to advanced civil rights. In the New World, the American two continents, colonialists have also invaded the territories, stealing the land and the natural resources of the native inhabitants and exterminating them by any means. During the last stage of colonialism, extended until the 20th century, the practice of depredation continued, in many cases slowing down or preventing the development of the colonized countries, notwithstanding the abundance of natural richnesses of which the native people never could benefit. Okay, now nobody lives in the solar system, so we are not running that risk to go there and take away things from someone else. In the solar system, there are no native intelligent beings, therefore we would not steal anything to anyone by colonizing those territories on the moon, Mars, Jupiter, moons, and beyond. Of course, we are now talking about the very essential part of colonialism, to grab resources and bring them home. In our cases, to take asteroids and exoplanetary resources from the moon, asteroids, Mars, and beyond, and bring them on Earth's surface. Would that be harmful? Yes. The space colonialism would be a dangerous and harmful strategy for several reasons. First of all, nobody likes to live on Trantor. I think if people like me are science fiction readers, they know the work of Isaac Asimov and his most famous trilogy of the Foundation, where he tells the story of a planet, Trantor, that was completely artificialized. So nature was completely destroyed on that planet, and everything is on that planet was metal and cement and everything artificial. So we, of course, this is an extreme comparison, but however, let's think what it would be if we will continue to bring things on Earth and develop on Earth. It would mean more industries on Earth's surface. First of all, our planet is now subject to a very high degree of pressure. 8 billion of us terrestrial, the majority still on the way of industrial development, are subjecting the natural environment of our mother planet to an unbearable stress, not only consuming more natural resources than the available ones, Retrieving raw materials outside Earth could maybe mitigate the resources shortage, yet it would unavoidably increase the environmental issues. An augmented amount of raw materials would mean an increase in volume of industrial processing and production on Earth's surface. Should such an increased industrial activity take place inside Earth's atmosphere, several key indicators would sign a dramatic worsening: energy demand, thermal burden inside the atmosphere, environmental pollution, CO2 production, just to mention some of the most relevant factors. Another problem, let's say, should robots populate our solar system? Humans, not robots, need space for development. Robots and artificial intelligence may support human expansion, not to replace it. Only being there in person, we will have the innovative ideas essential for the evolution of our species and civilization. Let's think about the ideas that can rise in our mind. Let's think about the ideas that rise in the mind of astronauts when they saw our planet from outside as a small ball in the immensity of the universe, what Frank White called the overview effect. So everyone that goes to orbit and come back is profoundly changed in his mind, in his philosophy, in his way of seeing the reality, to perceiving the reality, etc. So it is fundamental to go outside, because if we will not go outside, we will not evolve from the cultural point of view and from many other points of view. So the more people will live and work in space, the more cultural revolution will develop. Third, new colonialism will steal our children's future. The resources grabbed in space and brought to Earth's surface would be stolen to somebody. The unborn space communities who will not have the possibility to exploit the resources of their territory for their sacrosanct right to development. Basically because the new predatory strategy of space colonialists will be based on automated machines and not upon the work of human miners. Hypothetical future space settlers with the growing role of artificial intelligent machines will be stolen of their role and their future as well. Where are those people now? They exist. They are our children and nephews who don't find space and opportunities for social growth on Earth. They are the billions of people living in the so-called emerging countries who are now trying to migrate to the so-called advanced countries, just to find over there post-industrial societies where human civil rights are more and more questioned by unemployment and a new regression to slavish working conditions. So what are instead the opposite to that, the positive and progressive concept? Two concepts mainly, I will be speaking today, transterrestrialism and universal space development. Transterrestrialism is, as a concept, is due to Dr. Marie-Louise Heuser. She's a German space philosopher, and she's also the head of Space Renaissance Philosophy Laboratory. While the universal space development is due to Friedrich Jennett, that's a member of the National Space Society we are working with for our initiative of the 18 SDG that I will talk a little bit later. So, Space Renaissance has abandoned the terminology of space colonies, not just because we don't like the word recalling ominous historical periods. It is because we are definitely against the concept of a space new colonialism. The concept of civilian space development, transterrestrialism, and universal space settlement have nothing to do with space colonialism. The above concepts promote the use of space resources to develop space infrastructures, to host the incoming space communities in Earth orbit, indices lunar space around Mars orbit, the asteroid belt and beyond, to the Jupiter moons and the external solar system. Mining the moon and the near-Earth asteroids will be essential from the very beginning to produce fuel in space, avoiding so to bring everything from Earth and dramatically downsizing the cost of each space mission. The terrestrial citizen who will remain on Earth will be immensely benefited by the civilian space development, by the general economic and cultural growth. So, coming to the UN 2030 agenda, it is clearly outdated nowadays. As soon as the UN 2030 agenda was published, some relevant criticalities appeared. The agenda for sustainable development was conceptualized during the traditional aerospace age. Outer space was not considered as a dimension that helps to increase the sustainability of development. Space science and technologies are supporting social and environmental goals on Earth for many years. Yet that will not be enough to warrant a really sustainable development. To allow a true sustainable development, it is indispensable and urgent to start civilian space development outside Earth boundaries. The UN 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development Goals needs to be outdated. We propose an 18 SDG to be added. Space for all, civilian space development, and communities living beyond Earth. So we are discussing and polemizing with the current concept that sustainable development will mean less development. It is widely believed that sustainability means nothing else than reducing human activities on Earth in order to decrease our ecological footprint on this planet. But that would imply a rapid decay of civilization. As stated in the 1986 UN resolution, development is a universal civil right. We propose a more advanced concept of sustainability. The only way for 8 billion terrestrials to moderate their footprint on Earth would be to commence developing elsewhere. Expanding civilization into space will progressively relocate industries of Earth and consequently relieve the burden of our development on home planet. Earth's green lungs and seas will regenerate themselves. Mother Earth will take a breath and human civilization will resume growth and become more inclusive. So let's see now the 17 goals, okay? If we look at all the goals all together as they are here, they seem to be all equal in terms of priority and feasibility. But that's not true. As we can see, the most important goals are the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th, because they are the pillars that can sustain or not sustain all of the rest of the goals. So the 7th goal is affordable and clean energy. The 8th is a decent work and economic growth, and the 9th is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So we have tried to make a different view of the goals, a hierarchy, some kind of hierarchical view. The 3 goals that we see that are the pillars, the 7, the 8, and the 9, will assure social growth and cultural growth. And therefore, they will support, sustain all of the human life goals. So no poverty, no hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, peace, justice, and strong institutions. And therefore, also will help the planet Earth environment goals, climate action, life below water, life on land, and the methodological goals, responsible consumption and partnership for the goals. But the question is, the real question is, are these 3 pillars really sustainable? The answer is that if they are developed on Earth only, limited to the Earth boundaries, they are not sustainable. The problem is very simple. If developed, the three main pillars, energy, decent work and economic growth, and industrial innovation, will conflict with the environmental goals, because they will increase the industrial activities on Earth's surface, inside Earth atmosphere, and therefore they will be unavoidably crashing with the environmental goals. The conflictual factors are many. Some of them are listed here. The energy demand, it will be increased by electronic and web society, not decreased. The scarcity of key materials like the rare earths, raising new resource wars and conflicts. Rare earths are now the new oil, let me say, because they are useful, they are indispensable for the production of electronic components, chips, and other things that are needed for the electrical mobility, for the communication, etc. The pollution will be increased by disposal of batteries and other technological wastes. Oceans will be overexploited because, 8 billion should eat something, and fishing is one of the most largest activities. Social issues will be increased by multiple crises, by migration, and all the things that we already say. So the solution, as we said before, solution is space development, because, and this is the meaning of the 18th SDG, the civilian space development will assure two important things, very important things: abundant resources outside Earth, and environmental relief, because we will be moving our industrial activities outside. The key sustainability factor is our proposed 18 SDG. Without that, all the rest of the 17 SDG is unfeasible, just another utopia that we are telling ourselves, just not to think that we are going to a disaster, to a general crash of civilization or something like that. Thing that is not any more science fiction, as we know, because we are witnessing several signs that this is already happening. Just think about the war in Europe. That's the last sign of this crazy history that's going on. So the key word is sustainability. Sustainability of 7, 8, and 9 SDG is the real challenge. The only sustainable development for 8 billion people is beyond the limits of this planet. The energy demand by the internet society is higher than a previous model. Progressively moving industries in outer space will halve the energy demand on Earth. Let's think about moving our main industrial industries in the cislunar space will halve the demand of energy on Earth, because the remaining demand of energy will be only the private citizen one. And that will be an enormous improvement for sustainability. Expansion is indispensable, not to grab space resources to feed Earth society, yet to give to terrestrial citizens the freedom to settle in the solar system. A trans-terrestrial society shall begin to exist, and the space diaspora brings many benefits. First of all, survival of civilization and continuous progress. Mother Earth, okay, we already talked about Mother Earth. This is a metaphor, of course. Mother Earth is saying ciao to her child going to the school on the moon. And this was a concept conceived by Kraft Erike, that the moon is some kind of school for terrestrials, a kind of kindergarten, because it's very near to Earth and allow us to make experience in the void, absence of the atmosphere, reduced gravity, and so on. Okay, let's see what are in more detail what are the benefits of the civilian space developments for for several of the SDGs. And energy progressive relocation of the industrial development to the geolunar space will restrict the energy demand on Earth's surface to the private citizens one. Social growth, the development of the civilian astronautic industry will raise economy at double figure, business opportunity and employment accordingly. So this will benefit all of the social goals. Peace and collaboration. Wars for resources will be delivered to history, finally, losing their main cause, because we will take the needed things outside. Environment. Okay, we already said the environment of planet Earth will be relieved of the burden of industrial development. Cosmic safety. This is not mentioned in the SDGs. However, development behind Earth will mitigate the risk of premature extinction of our species by cosmic accidents. Let's think about possible killer asteroids. We are seeing almost each month a near-Earth asteroid passing more or less near. The last one, it was maybe yesterday or 2 days ago. Okay, passed at some million kilometers from Earth. However, it was coming near, okay? And we know that in the past, some kind of events occurred, and probably the extinction of dinosaurs was due to the impact of a killer asteroids 65 million years ago. The concept of expansion, I think it deserves a proper mention, because I think it's not clear after so many years of space exploration that are point to point, go and return trip. No, expansion is another thing. Expansion is moving on a cubic 360-degree outside, moving our activities outside to the moon, to the geolunar space, including what is called the greater Earth, that is the magnetosphere of Earth, and even more to Mars, to the asteroid belt, and so on. What do we need? Two considerations: space policy and space science. These are the two layers where things need to be advanced. Space policy should finally adopt a strategy for civilian space development, a coherent strategy. That means sustain the development of fully reusable, safe and ergonomic vehicles for civilian passengers and cargo transportation in space. What is Elon Musk developing, but also the space tourism companies are trying to do that with the fully reusable vehicles that also will not need anymore a very heavy training to travel in space. That will be more ergonomic, more less acceleration, safe re-enter in the atmosphere, and all a number of requirements that finally we should start to take in consideration very much more with higher priority. To push the production of fuel in space from moon and asteroid resources. Let's think what it does, what it means. The downsizing of cost of a launch of the space launch after the we have from since some few years the reusability of the first stage of the rockets, and already the cost of the launches decreased of one order of magnitude. We passed from 54,000 euros of the space shuttle to now about $10,000 or euros, the same thing, for Falcon 9 delivering a payload in Earth orbit. Let's think what it would mean if we can produce fuel in space from moon and asteroid raw materials. That will mean another very, very big reduction of the cost of all space mission, because we will not have to take everything from Earth. That's the most expensive thing to do because the gravitational well of Earth is very much bigger than the moon and Mars, of course. Push the development of technologies to remove orbital debris and their reutilization as in situ space resources. Space debris are important resources. They costed a lot to put it in orbit. And now the only thing we can do is to make them re-enter in atmosphere burning. Now, that's not a wise thing to do. We should use that resources to reprocess and producing raw materials for 3D printing and things like that. Start building logistic infrastructures and habitats in orbit and Earth-Moon Lagrange points endowed with simulated gravity. This is another very important thing to do because we cannot live for a long time in a reduced gravity or zero gravity. Promote moon and asteroid mining to get materials for space infrastructure construction. Sustain the new space industry worldwide by grants and fiscal reductions. Promote training and education, collaboration between space agencies, private enterprises, schools, and universities worldwide. Sustain the space tourism industry and market segment, currently the only sector trying to transport untrained civilians in space. Help the non-governative organization to spread their philosophical contribute to the space community, since there's no strategy without philosophy. So we could maybe have the scientific and technological means, but if we don't know where to go, then it's like not to have them. And the only discipline that can help us to understand where to go is philosophy. So the importance of philosophy is key. Science challenges. Enabling life in space. Living and working in space is totally different from short exploration scientific missions. The mission requirements are different, particularly with respect to human health. There's a number of scientific issues which need better consideration and priority. It is our main recommendation that such research strains, as well as the above-mentioned space strategy, will be promoted in every context where strategic decisions are undertaken. And which are they? Protection against solar and cosmic radiation, the first thing, necessary to allow long-time and permanent residence in space. Simulated gravity, necessary to avoid quick change of human physiology, giving the freedom to space settlers to go back to Earth when they like so. Then, green environment and water in space, necessary to assure an environment similar to the earthly one for biological and psychological need. Low-cost space transportation systems for civilian passengers and cargo, low acceleration spacecrafts, safe and comfortable atmospheric re-entry mechanism. So, I said we have policy and science, two things that we have to get better priorities for things to be done. If you don't mind, I will take some water, just 30 seconds, okay? Because otherwise I cannot talk anymore. Just a moment.
Okay, let's wait.
Okay. So, okay, now going to the end of my presentation, I will share a few views of what we already say, the conditions to kick off civilian space development. First of all, fully reusable, safe and ergonomic vehicles for civilian passenger and cargo transportation in space. The outcomes will be cost of Earth orbit transport less than $1,000 per kilogram. They talk about $100 per kilogram and even less, so that will be similar to the airplane now, the flight, the air flight. Low acceleration, protection from cosmic radiation, ergonomics, allowing untrained civilians to travel in space. The next milestones. 2023, we hope to see the first orbital flight of a 100% reusable vehicle, the Starship. That will be further downsize of the orbital transport cost, less going down the $1,000 per kilogram. 2025, recovery and reuse of orbital debris. We hope to see the beginning of this industrial activity, not only claiming, not only for, let me say, mitigating risk, but also to start making business, it will be the kickoff of industrialization of the geolunar space, in effect. In 2030, maybe we could see the fuel production in space from lunar and asteroid resources, and the further downsize of the orbital transport cost under $100 per kilogram. Within 2030, we could maybe also see the kickoff of a humanist expansion strategy, development of life and health protection technologies in space, cosmic radiation, simulating gravity, green environment, ergonomics, and comfort. That possibility will be the possibility of living and working beyond the limits of Earth's atmosphere indefinitely. Orbital debris recovery and reuse claim. The outcomes will be claim Earth orbit, eliminating dangerous obstacles to navigation, use the grid richness in orbit materials reprocessing to produce fuel in space for passengers and cargo transport vehicles, kick off the orbital industrialization. Mining asteroids, outcomes to get materials to build space infrastructures and to produce fuel. Big asteroids can be digged inside and transformed in rotating habitats with simulated gravity and protection from cosmic radiation. Mining the moon, extracting many precious materials, advanced astronomy on the far side, space kindergarten, experience with closed artificial ecosystems, and boost to trans-terrestrial economy. It was a Kraft Erike who wrote many papers on the moon industrialization and listed the main materials that can be extracted from the moon. Oxygen extracted from lunar regolith, water, ice in poles, hydrogen present in high concentrations in poles, metals, iron, titanium, aluminum, silicon, calcium, magnesium, rare earths, helium-3 on all the lunar surface. Helium-3, as we know, is very important for the fusion technology, the nuclear fusion. Coal and nitrogen extracted from lunar regolith and regolith for construction. Protection of life and health in space. Protection from what? From solar radiation, from galactic radiation, from supernova explosion, and also from asteroids and cometoids. Space tourism, it's very important activity. It is not just a toy for super rich. It is the only industrial sector working to bring untrained civilians into space. Space tourism is the link between astronautical space exploration and space settlement. With growth of the market, the ticket prices will decrease, as it happened with the civil aviation. Last but not least, our proposal of the 18 SDG strongly and warmly recommend the introduction of the history of space in all the education programs, as well as the history of scientific research should be added to all education programs at all levels from primary to university. We need to teach the history of love, not just of empires and wars. Our children have to learn the history of the people who dedicated their life to humanity for the progress of civilization. The 18 Sustainable Development Goals shall bring on board the great educational value. So, okay, I think it's over. Yes, so if you like our proposal, you can make two things. You can sign our petition. It is on change.org and is the upper QR code. And you can also add your organization to the group of promoters. All organizations are invited. Cultural associations, space advocacy associations, educational entities like universities and all the educational entities are invited to join our coalition that is now almost 40 organizations. I just want to show you. Sorry, we stop for a moment and share another thing. If I am able to do it quickly. Okay. Because this is important that we see who already joined our coalition. Okay, let me share again. Okay, so as you see, we have the Space Foundation International, the National Space Society for the United States, the Mars Society with Bob Zabrin, the Lifeboat Foundation, the Human Space Program with Frank White. Frank White is the author of the overview effect I was talking before, the Space Tourism Society, the Beyond Earth Institute, the Space Development Foundation, Expanding Frontiers, Jan Space, Space Value Foundation, the Space Development Steering Committee. This is was funded by Howard Bloom. The International Moon Base Alliance, sorry, it is wrong, okay, copy and paste, Interstellar Foundation, Space Nation, ExoTesla, this is from Hong Kong, and then we are, oh, sorry, I cannot go down. Right. Okay. Okay, Eco-Modernist Society. Okay, there are more known and less known organizations. However, as you can see, we have 38 organizations now that signed our proposal. So it's a very important initiative. We will hold a session at the United Nations General Assembly, the 15th of September, where many of these representatives of this organization will speak, including Bob Zabrin, including Anita Gale, the president of Space Society, of the National Space Society, and many others. And so we are inviting all of us to watch, to follow this initiative, to sign our petition, to join our alliance, because this is a very, very important, it is an historical proposal. It was already presented at COPUOS. COPUOS is the Committee for the Pacific Use of Outer Space, at the session held in Vienna the 5th of June, past 5th of June. The 18th SDG was presented by Carlton Johnson of the National Space Society on behalf of all of our alliance. And we are now looking for a state party that can endorse our proposal, because this is the condition in order the proposal can be really presented, officially presented to UN. And we also need a physical room to hold our session in the 15th of September. Otherwise, if we will not have it, it will be a virtual event, and it will be very much important the same. But however, we hope we can be there in person and bring our proposal directly to the UN. Okay, so this is all by me for now. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, Adriano, thanks so much for your presentation. Also, I'd like to, we are also visitors in the meeting today, also participants, Celia and I believe Corinne also here. Thanks, and this is your book, right?
Yeah, my book can be found on Amazon. A Greater World is Possible.
Wonderful.
Also as an ebook, so I think is free of charge as an ebook. On paper, it costs about $10 or something like that.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, wonderful. Yes, I'd like to invite Professor Carlos Duarte. I also be reading a small curriculum. Carlos Duarte is recognized one as a project manager of innovation projects in academic, private, and government sectors. Also, he's acting as a researcher at the Center of Scientific Research and Higher Education in Ensenada, CCC, Mexico, CICESE, Mexico, and also Director of Research and Development of Digital Data de Mexico, Technical Coordinator of Mexico Program, connected to Ministry of Communication and Transportation. And currently, he's a General Coordinator of Human Capital Training in Space, Mexican Space Agency. Carlos, you are very welcome to present some questions and complementary points to the presentation of Adriano. You are very welcome.
Thank you very much, Julio. I'm very delighted to be here, hearing this presentation by Adriano. Wonderful presentation. His proposal of coming with an 18th SDG that covers space for all. It's really wonderful. I think I hope it will be approved. And I have a commentary on his talk. I will start by saying that we are privileged to have Adriano Autino, a former president of the Space Renaissance Initiative, share his compelling insights on the urgent need for humanity to leave Earth and venture into the cosmos. In this commentary, I will delve into the possible perspectives of non-spacefaring nations like Mexico and other nations, and explore the possibilities of developing the right systems for establishing settlements on other celestial bodies of our solar system. So as Adriano said, we are standing on the brink of a resource crisis on Earth. We have our Earth's finite reserves are depleting rapidly. So it is paramount that we confront this reality before us. Adriano passionately advocates for a future where humanity embarks on an exodus from our home planet, not as an act of escapism, but as a profound responsibility to ensure our long-term survival and flourishing. And while some nations have been at the forefront of space exploration, we know all these nations, the US, Russia, China, the European countries, many others are yet to fully embrace this endeavor. It is crucial to acknowledge the viewpoints of spacefaring nations and address their concerns. These nations might question the feasibility, the costs, and potential inequality of space settlements efforts. They might also express reservations about diverting resources from pressing domestic issues like poverty, security, and so on, lack of resources and so on. To address these concerns, it is essential to expand our perspective and explore the broader implications of space human settlements, as Adriano has rightly said. A collective effort involving spacefaring and non-spacefaring nations could enable equitable access to resources and opportunities. Collaboration on international space projects could foster cooperation, knowledge sharing, and the establishment of global frameworks for sustainable exploration. Now, let us turn our attention to the awe-inspiring possibilities that lie before us as we contemplate settlements in other bodies of our solar system. Imagine a future where we establish self-sustaining habitats on the Moon, Mars, and beyond. Fantasize about advanced technologies that enable us to harness the resources available on these celestial bodies, transforming them into thriving ecosystems that support human life. The Moon, our closest celestial neighbor, holds great potential for human habitation. By leveraging lunar resources such as water, ice, in permanently shadowed regions, we can create a sustainable infrastructure for energy production, fuel generation, and construction. Lunar bases could serve as stepping stones for further exploration, as Adriano said, paving the way for extended missions to Mars and beyond. The red planet Mars, with its tantalizing similarities to Earth, has captivated our imagination for decades. As we strive to establish a foothold on the red planet, we envision vast settlements that harness Martian resources, including atmospheric carbon dioxide and subsurface water. Through innovative agriculture, we could create closed-loop ecosystems, sustain human colonies, and potentially transform Mars to make it more hospitable for future generations. Beyond the Moon and Mars, our solar system holds an array of intriguing possibilities. The moons of Jupiter and Saturn offer potential for scientific discovery and resource extraction. Asteroid mining could become a lucrative venture, providing us with rare minerals and raw materials that are becoming scarce right now on Earth. The vision of humanity as an interplanetary species spanning the depths of space is both humbling and exhilarating. Adriano's call for humanity's urgent exodus from Earth should not be viewed as a mere flight of fancy. Instead, it compels us to re-evaluate our priorities, challenge our limitations, and envision a future where the cosmos becomes our new frontier, our new home. By addressing the concerns of non-spacefaring nations, fostering international collaboration and developing sustainable systems for allowing settlements in space, we can embark on a journey that will redefine the course of human history. The development of advanced technologies combined with the collective will of nations holds the key to unlocking the potential of space human settlements. As we venture into the unknown, let us not forget the lessons that we have learned from our experiences on Earth. Sustainability, environmental stewardship, and responsible resource management must be integral components of our human settlements efforts for human settlements in space. By adopting a mindset of long-term planning and embracing innovative solutions, we can minimize our ecological footprint and ensure the preservation of celestial bodies for future generations. Moreover, developing human settlements in space offers a unique opportunity for scientific advancement. The challenges we encounter in establishing self-sustaining colonies will drive breakthroughs in fields such as life support systems, energy generation, and interplanetary transportation. The knowledge gained from these endeavors would not only benefit space exploration, but also find practical applications in solving Earth's most pressing challenges. It is vital that we inspire and educate the next generation, fostering a passion for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. By investing in education and research, we can cultivate the talent needed to propel our species beyond the confines of Earth, ensuring a bright and prosperous future for all. So, the urgent need for humanity to leave planet Earth, as emphasized by Adriano, should not be dismissed as mere science fiction or escapism. Instead, it should serve as a catalyst for visionary thinking, international collaboration, and sustainable innovation. As we explore and settle in other celestial bodies within our solar system, let us do with a spirit of unity, responsibility, and reverence for the cosmos. Our journey into the stars holds the potential to redefine what it means to be human and should secure a future that transcends the boundaries of a single planet. Together, we can embark in this extraordinary adventure and forge a legacy that will resonate through the universe. That's my comment. I'm really glad and honored to having been present in this lecture. I should say that at the Mexican Space Agency, we fully agree with Adriano's vision, and we will do whatever is in our means to collaborate with his quest for setting humans in our solar system. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And so does it mean that we can consider la Agencia Espacial Mexicana as one of our co-promoters?
Sure.
Can we add? Can we add it?
Sure.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
That's wonderful.
That's great. You will be the second space agency, because we already have the La Reunion Island Space Agency. That is not a space agency. It's not official, but exists. Is promoted by Guy Pignolet. Maybe some of us know him because he's an old space activist that you can find him in all the congresses of the International Astronautical Federation. And so La Reunion Space Agency and the Mexican Space Agency, fantastic, very good. Thank you so much. Yeah. I like it very much. Your commentary is very deep and insightful, and you mentioned several things that are important also in my personal elaboration and work that I'm conducting. First of all, the collaboration among spacefaring nations and not yet spacefaring nations is fundamental, because we are working for 100% inclusive, fully inclusive space renaissance, you know. And we are sure that going outside and expanding outside and yes, not escaping, we are not thinking with the concept of expansion is not
Right.
not to go and abandon Earth, is to expand, to enlarge our
Sure.
role. That's the point. And so I think that is very important. And to work on the problem of feasibility and possible inequalities, it's also an important point, because yes, I think that in this age there are things that are not well understood yet. But however, let me say that the history of the money in human history, the money changed from simple pieces of stone, let me say, to precious metals, to paper money, and now we have electronic money. So we are somehow freed from the material money. That means that money becomes some kind of energy that can be directed where they are needed. The only thing is that our political leaders didn't understand that so far. But we have a great power with electronic money. Humanity hold a great power that never had before, because we can direct money where they are needed in a very quick way. We don't have to print thousands and millions of papers or to coins. No, we just have to say, okay, in that point, that region, they are doing a very important project. They need support. Tac. Some bits are generated and the flux of energy is going there and help those people to develop their project. Of course, that means a great level of maturity that we would
right.
need. Because it would be very easy to say, okay, we have money, we can send everywhere to do everything. That's not true, it's not to be done. But however, we have to understand that we have the power that we never had before. That's important. So inequalities and balances and helping who really has good ideas and want to develop, this is the important thing in our age. If we don't do that, we will not be able to take profit of this big richness, 8 billion intelligences. We have 8 billion human beings, 8 billion thinking heads, not only mouths. You know, Malthus thought that people are only mouth to be filled. But Julian Simon said, no, it's not true. We have a brain.
Sure.
Thinking, making innovation, bringing new ideas. And that's the solution. That's the solution of the crisis. When the crisis arrives, new ideas are generated. So we have to finally be able to take profit of the new ideas that can come up everywhere in the world, even in the most forgotten place in the middle of a forest or of a periphery of a big city, you know. Everywhere intelligent people can be born. And if we lose them, that would be a very, very bad thing to do, to lose our promises, our intelligence that can rise everywhere. So we have really to go everywhere and see where good-willing people and innovative people and Renaissance people, we say Renaissance leaders are everywhere. And we should become able to go there and to say, come, let's work together. Let's make things. Let's go outside. Let's make space settlement. Yeah. So, yeah, you also mentioned agriculture, and for sure, yeah, we had a webinar a few weeks ago by Professor Thomas Matula. He teaches in a university in the United States somewhere, And he was talking about space food and space agriculture, and brought a very important concept that only being there in space and making direct experience of closed ecosystems, artificially sustained ecosystems, because, you know, on Earth, we were lucky up to nowadays, because nature was thinking about maintaining the ecosystems. And then we were so we were so good in wasting them. But however,
Right.
But however, we have nature that is thinking about, okay, when we will go to build a closed environment, we will have to think how to make ecosystems to sustain themselves. If you have seen the movie The Martian, with the poor guy trying to raise potatoes in his habitat, yeah, that's the kind of problems we have to, and making experience over there. It will be very important also on Earth, because the experience made over there on artificial ecosystem closed, and where we will learn how to monitor continuously monitor the physical variables, humidity, temperature, and all the things, and the biological things, etc. We can make an important experience that will be useful also on Earth, because also on Earth we can have hydroponics cultivation and closed environments where the yield is very much augmented because it is closed. It is not affected by parasites and by illnesses and all that kind of thing. And okay, so it's a very interesting discourse that can be brought ahead with let me say non-spacefaring, not yet spacefaring countries, because where agriculture is very important. Agriculture is very important also for the so-called advanced countries, because we have to eat, okay, everybody. So many points you touched in your commentary are very important points, and maybe we should talk again in order to let me say add something to our general presentation of the 18 SDG and so on. So okay. Now I will just share in the chat the link where it is possible to sign and add an organization to the co-promoters. Okay, and also to sign the petition on change.org. Yeah, okay, good. Julio, what else?
Okay, thanks so much for the comments of Professor Carlos Duarte, and I'd like to invite Isaac Hernandez to do some collaborations too. I'd like to introduce Isaac about his curriculum. He has experience in consulting related to planning. Also he's studied in the actions in Ensenada too, in campus of Tijuana. It's a very interesting this coincidence. Because also Professor Carlos Duarte had actions in Ensenada, in Tijuana. Also, he has many different activities in Instituto Municipal de Planeamiento in Rosarito, and also activities in Tijuana. And his formation he's an architecture, and he has mastered about the strategic planning of cities. He has he's also bachelor in business management. That's very interesting. And thanks so much, Isaac, to be here with us. And you are very welcome to present your comments or questions to Adriano Autino. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Julio. Adriano, Professor Carlos, it's an honor to meet you. I recently developed research in city planning. I call it space urbanism. And in my research in the development of it, I had many difficulties realizing it. Now that I see your presentation, I realized that there is many information and I really appreciate your work. I have obviously many questions in many topics like ecological, psychological, social, mobility, and even thinking that there could be a new race of humans in space. But in respect of your time and the time of everyone here present, I'm going to go with a question, something that I want to ask you, your vision, because it's one of the problems I had, and I see that is also in Mexico and Central and South America, and it's the access to information related to space exploration and all the research that it is, because it's not open to public. It is really not private, but it's hard to search. I use Google and I search for city planning in space or space urbanism or space settlements, and you don't find many things. And it's really complicated for everyone to socialize the topic and to extend the reach of it to everyone. As you said, we are not mouths, we are brains. And I think it's really important to people to access to this information. So why do you think this is happening and how can we solve it?
It's a good question. Yes, I can say that we all have a problem to find information every day. And yeah, of course, I don't know if first of all, I don't know if the Google search is open in the same way to all countries, or there are restrictions somewhere. We know, for instance, that maybe in China there are restrictions to what people can search or not to search. For sure, it depends also which kind of information. Let me say what level of information you are looking for. I know that for certain scientific papers, sometimes you have to pay to access a repository that is only for paid members of that thing. I think a good repository that's quite open is the ResearchGate. I don't know if you know this. ResearchGate is a very large repository where you can find many papers about space, and not only. I don't know if I am really giving a useful answer or not, because it's a very hard question. Okay, ResearchGate. Now I will share the link here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Another one is academia.edu. Let me. Yeah. Yeah, they claim you can download 47 million PDF papers for free. So,
Okay.
academia.edu. These are the two big repositories that I know, but for sure there are many others.
Okay, it's okay, Isaac, or more questions or comments?
No, I mean, I would like to send my questions to you so I can continue with my research, but I will be sending to your mail if that's okay to you.
Okay, you are contacting later the Adriano, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, I also like to register the presence of Phil. Hello, Phil, how are you?
Hey, doing good, thanks. As you know, I'm working on aside on new technologies, and things are going well. I'm gonna present my technology in Honolulu in August to the U.S. military, so it's a good start.
Okay, okay, thanks. And also we are with the presence of Daphne Rocha. Oh, hello, Daphne, and also Celia too. Celia.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, hello, Celia.
Now.
Hello, hello. I'm listening intensively.
Okay, wonderful. Yes,
No,
about
Celia is a psychologist,
yes.
and she's working with analog training and this kind of thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
she's making
Yes.
really good work. Yeah.
Adriano, my question to you is also is important to Professor Carlos Duarte and Isaac. How space renaissance would have a greater presence in Latin America, because I would like to collaborate to spread the group, and also have the participants as Phil and Celia from Space Renaissance too. I'd like to know what activities and or actions we can do to have more affiliates to Space Renaissance. Some reflections about this one of
Yes.
the ideas about this meeting today.
Yes, what I can say is that we should make a great chapter of Space Renaissance in Latin America, in Brazil, in Argentina, in Chile, in Mexico, all Latin America. And by today, everybody is invited to join our organization. The membership fee is very low, is only 24 euros per year and 12 euros for students or inoccupied people, so they don't have an earning. So I will now share the link to join the organization. Copy. So okay, it's here in the chat. So what can we do to start spreading the word and attracting people? Let me say space humanists, space humanists to join our organization and work with us. A first appointment that we have is in November, when we will have the Space Habitat workshop organized by Julio and Habitat Marte, together with Space Renaissance and the Mars Society and other organizations, that will take place in Natal. Correct, Julio? Yeah.
Yeah.
It will take place in Natal. It will be a 3-day workshop where we will discuss about science, philosophy, and all what is included for starting the civilian space development in the cislunar space and in the solar system. So I hope that this kind of initiative will multiply in 2024. Yeah, 2024 we will have many important events. We will have the International Astronautical Federation Congress in Milano, so here in Italy, and several other things. And I hope that we can have maybe some other event to be made in Latin America. Why not in Mexico or in Argentina? So my experience is that people begins to join when they see concrete initiatives, public conferences, public initiatives, and things like that. This is the only way the local chapters have to build the community, to meet the people in presence, to share ideas and conversations and everything, social events and dinners also, and play music too, and stay together and build the community. So Julio, can we say we will follow you? We will follow you. You are our leader in Latin America.
Okay,
we will follow you.
Yeah, also, I believe it's important we have me as based in Brazil and Carlos Duarte in Mexico and Saki in Chile. And we can do also arrange other participants from other countries, like make a community and see the possibilities about the activities that we can do regionally. And also, I believe there's other participants from Latin America too, also like Professor Thais Russomano. And yes, also we mentioned about the space habitat event. We are open to applications, to abstracts, and one of interesting things. The applications can be done in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. We are arranging panels that will be happening in Spanish from people from Latin America speaking in Spanish. Also panels with Portuguese speakers from Brazil, and also international presentations, people from many countries speaking in English. In this case, we'll be organizing the panels also according to time zones too, because we have, for example, participants from India, and India is a great difference when compared with time zone in Mexico, because Mexico is I believe 6 hours less GMT minus, and also you have participants in India, and it's one of interesting things is try to see the group, the participants in terms of time zones, because yes, like starting with people from Europe and also from India, in the afternoon time, having participants from Mexico, because not very early.
Yeah. I would like to make a comment on how to spread the participation of space renaissance in Latin America. You know, for I will recommend to be present on space conferences and forums being organized in all over Latin America. For instance, in Mexico, we're organizing an aerospace forum in the city of Puebla on September the 5th to September the 8th. Then there's a Central American Space Conference, the first Central American Space Conference that is going to take place in San Jose, Costa Rica. I think it's 12, 13 and 14 of September. And there's many other conferences in the city of Yucatan. there's going to be by the end of September also a conference, not only on space, but on innovation. So those are places where you, I mean, the Space Renaissance Initiative can have present. And also the Mexican Space Agency is organizing a conference on space, national space activities on October from 18th to October 20th. And so, and I'm sure that there's many other conferences and events all over Latin America. Also, I would like to mention about the Latin American and Caribbean Space Agency that is going to start to operate shortly. I don't know when, but probably this year it'll be constituted officially as an organization, as a space agency with at least 11 members. Mexico is one of the promoters. Argentina is another promoter, but there's other countries affiliated to ALCE, the Latin American Space and Caribbean Space Agency. So that's probably a good point of contact to spread the word about these initiatives.
Excellent. Sorry, can you repeat where and when it will be?
Where?
The last that you mentioned. Where and
Oh,
when?
The last thing that I mentioned was the formation or formal organization of the Latin American and Caribbean Space Agency.
Yeah.
There's no a definite date for that.
Oh, okay.
But it's already in progress.
Okay.
There's already it is required to have at least 11 countries signing an agreement, and I believe right now there are 10 or 9. So in a couple of months it will be constituted, but I don't know exactly when.
Okay. Okay.
However, it is operating. I mean, there's a person from Mexico that is acting as the acting director, and you can contact him. I can give you his point of contact, his contact information, and because once that this organization, this space agency is constituted, it will encompass at least 11 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean.
Interesting, very interesting. Sorry, I will put my email address here, and if you can, Carlos, maybe share your one so we can be in touch.
Sure.
Okay. One question: Will you be in Baku at the IAC Congress in October?
I'm not sure if I
But
I'm not sure, probably not.
But the Mexican Space Agency maybe will be there.
Yeah, there's going to be a representation of the Mexican Space Agency. Probably our Director General will be there, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be there.
Okay, okay. So if you will be there, we can meet, because we have to.
Oh, definitely.
We will have a booth over there, Space Renaissance in the exhibition center, and trying to make a little bit of action.
Okay.
Good.
I will be in a event in Brazil during the same time, but I'm trying to see if possible I participate of UNOSA workshop. It's a pre-event. In the pre-event, I have a schedule available to participate, but I need to confirm if they will be funding my participation in the IAC event, because it will be like 3 days before. Yeah.
Okay.
To see this.
Yes, and the 15th, of course, the 15th of September, we will have our panel in New York at the UN General Assembly 78. So I think if that event in Costa Rica is 13 and 14, September. In Costa Rica.
Yeah, I think so. I will check. Is-
Adriano, the event in New York will be Friday, 15.
15th of September.
Okay. Okay, good. Because I was thinking about 18th, but will be.
No, it was moved because the 18 it was critical because 18 and 19 there is the general summit, you know, with all the ministers of the world, all the IG.
It's difficult to find a hotel there during the same week.
Yeah, they have there will be traffic limitations, and also the attention for space sessions would be lower in those days. Therefore, we decided to move a few days earlier to 15.
And just was identified a place, a room to organize, because I can talk with the Brazilian consulate there.
Yes, that would be great, because we wrote to several state parties asking if they have a room for us, a physical room. I only had one answer from the Republic of San Marino. It's a very small country in the territory of Italy, by the way, but is a separate nation. And they appreciate very much our initiative, but they cannot give us a room. So if anybody has the possibility to ask for a room for our panel, the 15th of September in the afternoon, this would be very, very useful and important. Maybe Mexico, I don't know, could be. I think I wrote to Mexico, to the permanent representative in New York.
Okay, Adriano. Okay, I will be. I will request more information in private to your WhatsApp, and I will try to talk with Brazilian consulate in New York.
Excellent.
Okay. Hello, Isaac. Isaac has a comment.
Thank you. Also, I would like to add to spread the space topic in Latin America. The work that is we're made in Arquitectura Espacial Chile, AREC. I'm also sharing the link to the page where you can see all the work, and also we are organizing some workshops in Arquitectura Espacial, spatial architecture, about the new era of spatial architecture and the design of other worlds and technologies. So you can follow us and maybe participate in one of them. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yes, based on this, I believe we can conclude this meeting, this meeting today. I'd like to say thanks to Adriano. It's very, very important. Also, we have Carlos Duarte from Mexico, Isaac Hernandez from Chile. We have this opportunity today to identify how to spread your message, Adriano, around the world and in Latin America. And also very important have other participants from Space Renaissance as Celia and Phil. Okay, and Adriano, I'd like to say, not forget to save the file and possible share lately in a Drive or Google Drive or the
sure.
page, because I'd like to publish your video in our social media, in also our channels.
Sure. Okay. So thank you very much. It was really a pleasure, a great pleasure and an honor for me to be here and virtually speak to all the Latin America. So it's very, very exciting for me. So I think we will do it again. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.